Hi everyone, welcome to WW Designs. My name is Nikki and we're going to have a little Christmassy sort of play today. I was going through my festive stash and I found this old paper pad that I have had for a very long time. Craft Christmas Wishes. I doubt anyone could ever get this one anymore unless you found it on Facebook or something. But it has a beautiful vintage vibe and very pretty colours. And we have not done any work in my lovely little vintage glam journal for quite some time. And I thought it might be a good idea to have a go at something like that today. Now, I have a playlist called Vintage Glam Journal, and it covers everything from making the cover to all the decoration I have already done so far. And today we're going to have a little bit of Christmassy fun. Now, let's just make sure I have you lined up there, which I believe I do. And we are going to start with this very basic, boring page here as step number one. Now, I'm just going to grab some baking paper, or it's not really parchment paper. I'm not sure in the US what you call this, but this is this non-stick stuff. I find it fabulous if you don't want to get things gluey and painty. It's a great way to keep things clean. And I just want to fold this over and under a little bit because we're going to do a little bit of stenciling just to get the ball rolling. If I could just get this to line up, that would be lovely. There we go. And I have another piece here, which I might just fold over and make a relatively straight edge with. And we'll just pop that down there. All right, after much fussing around, I now have that ready, and I've cut that bit out to save you the boredom. This is a little Christmassy themed stencil with pretty little pine cones and things like that on it. And I thought it might help just to create a little bit of interest on the background. And I have this beautiful, sparkly, antique pink paint. Who makes this though? Something nation, I can't read it. IMAC Nation Crafts. Honestly, I have no idea where I got this from, except it was probably from one of my local scrapbook stores when I was living in Brisbane. They used to have all sorts of wonderful things like this. Now, I have popped some paint onto my very favourite plate, all covered in acrylic paint, which I just adore. And I'm just going to do a little bit of stenciling. So I'm just going to dab some off. I'm not sure, you probably can't see this bit. It's a little bit over to the left. I'm trying to dab it off so I don't end up with too much. And we're just going to, don't mind it. Oh, actually, yes, let's go over the edge a bit. That's not the worst thing I can do. Now, I'm not worried about the center because we will be covering that up. But I do want to sort of create a little bit of a frame. Because otherwise it's a little bit boring. Oh yes, that's pretty. I do like that. Now we just have to put that aside to dry for a little while. So while that happens, because acrylic paint dries very quickly, I'm just going to start working on the other bits that go in it. So what we're going to do is make some tags. But instead of just making tags, we're going to use the tags to create a pocket. So I started with the first one, which I have already cut out, and I have grabbed my Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo, and I have just gently coloured the edges. We're going to do the same sort of thing with this piece of cardstock, but I thought you really didn't need to watch me doing this whole thing twice. So I'm trying to make things a little quicker for you, and we will make another tag. This one will be this one here will be the base tag, and then this one will go on top. And we're going to turn it into a pocket. And I have paint all over my thumbnail. Let me get rid of that quickly, I think. No, I'll have to scrape that off properly when it dries. Okay, so how about we add a little hole. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing again, grabbing my Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo, which is my favourite colour when I'm trying to make things look a little bit vintagey. And I just like using these little daubers. They're so easy. I buy them in a bulk pack from Temu for a few dollars. Easy fixed. Pop the lid on before I forget. Now I have a few little fussy cuts, as I always do, which I want to add to this tag, because you will see the majority of this, well, you'll see all of this tag. So I thought we'd add a few little bits and pieces that then make these two belong together. Of course, if you don't have this kit, which you probably don't, feel free to use any kit that you might have, anything Christmassy. Doesn't even have to be vintagey. If you want to do something a little bit more modern for your journal, maybe we'll pop that one in the middle, actually. Just using glue stick for this. These are not really thick. It's not really thick paper stock, but it's definitely, you know, thicker than normal photocopy paper or anything like that. And I just stuck with all the pink ones because I just love these sparkly looking things. And lucky last, we've got this little heart. Well, just pop that maybe in that space there. There we go. Perfect. So that's that little bit of embellishment. Then the next thing I did, I also went through my stash and I found this beautiful sheer fabric. It is a little bit sparkly, glitzy. It's probably very hard for the camera to pick up, but I want to put a little bit of pretty down here. So what we're going to do is just run a little bit of glue. I'm going to run it on a bit of an angle rather than dead straight across the tag. And then we're just going to whoosh this up a little bit as we're gluing it down. We will get glue on our fingers and that's fine. I just want a little bit of ruffling happening. So I have a few little ruffles there. Then the next thing I have is this cute little Christmas word. It was one of the, no, actually it wasn't. There was a few strips of different words and things. Or no, actually this might have been one of the strips across the top. I can't remember where I grabbed it from now, but I thought I want the word Christmas on here. So just a little bit of inking around the edges. It will help it look a little bit more defined on my tag. And I'm just using my Helmer's Tiger Grip. And we're going to stick that down on there. And then, of course, we just have those cute little ruffles peeking out. Okay, then we can lift this up and we can just trim off the excess. Don't mind if a little bit hangs off the edge. Voila. Now, the next thing we need to do is attach this to here, but let's put the ribbon in first. I'm going to grab the same ribbon that I used down on the top one. We're just going to feed this through. And instead of tying it or anything like that, what I do is I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on each side, and that will hold it in place. And this is probably the least bulky way of adding ribbon to something, because as soon as you start tying it, it gets very chunky. So both of these are now dry, and what we need to do is attach this onto here, and I want it slightly off center, something along those lines. So what we're going to do is just flip these over, and I'm going to grab a pencil, and I'm just going to put a very faint mark along here. So this is where I know to add some glue. Okay, so we can flip this out of the way, and then just focus on the glue in the area where we have made our little marks. And I'm going to glue these together by placing this on top. And that way we end up with a nice sealed pocket without any glue in the wrong spot, just like that. So now we're going to grab our page again, and we can now attach this into our journal. So what we're going to do, of course, because I said we're going to actually turn this into a pocket, I'm just going to glue down here, and just maybe a tiny bit up there just to give it some strength. And then we have created a pocket. This is already dry. That's the joys of working with acrylic paint. It dries very quickly. And then just a little bit up here just to give it some strength. And we'll put that quite over to the edge, but not right up against it, because otherwise it will make it too hard to close. And so now we have made ourselves a little pocket, which we will fill in a little bit, but first we'll just let that get nice and dry so that we don't mess it up. Now, of course, we have this little flap here, and this does look a little bit boring. So I think we need to do a little bit of work on that. So I have grabbed a few bits and pieces. The first thing I'm going to do is put a strip of this down, simply because this is quite flimsy. It is just coffee dyed paper. So if I want to put any weight on it, I need to give it a little bit of strength, and we're going to add a few little layers to this. So I'm just going to trim this off. This, of course, was a paper in the paper pack. Just going to add some glue. Go. Then I went through my stash. So I have grabbed some goodies, one being this very pretty ribbon, which I thought we can add a little bit to. I'll just clean up the edges a little bit. Work out roughly how long we need it, just under that gold one. There we go. And then we're just going to run a strip of glue all the way down. This is very easy. We're sort of just, I'm following the marks that are already on the paper. And we will lay this on top here. Trying to make sure we line it up relatively straight. Done. And I also found this in my stash. So I think we better add some of this, if I can find the end. Pretty shimmery snowflakes. So let's see, where do I need to cut this? We could maybe cut this one here. Yep, I think that should do it very nicely. Just move this over a tiny bit so I can lay this down, and we'll just add some glue in a few spots. Right, so now we add this here. Now I had a couple of little bits that were folded over. I've just got to rescue them before the glue dries. There's that one. One more up here. There we go. Fabulous. All right, now, of course, I also got given this little pack of pretty sparkly things in a swap a little while ago, a few years ago actually, and I thought maybe we could add a few little sequins because there's some really pretty colours in here, and I think they would go really well with this. Now I've just noticed I need a bit more glue down here for this bottom bit, and I might do exactly the same for this top bit. And then we can add a few little sparkles. Ah, now where are my tweezers? I think we might find this a little bit easier if we do that. So, seeing we sort of have all the same sort of colours, we've got, you know, a nice little pastel blue. And then a clear sort of little bit of a pinky sheen to it. So of course the phone goes while I'm in the middle of gluing, and I decided just to add some more sparkles whilst I was on that call, because I think you all know how to put some glue and sparkly bits down. So I have finished that flap, absolutely love it. And then my V pocket is now nice and dry. All we have to do is pop in a little bit of ephemera. I grabbed one of the journaling cards that was in the paper pack, to sit out there. And then I also found this really pretty tag. This was on a gift that I got maybe last year, the year before, I have no idea. But ask your friends and family to keep all their tags and cards for you. Have a look how pretty this is. It's got silver glitter on it. I just love it. Actually, gold glitter, sorry. And all I did to hide the fact that it was a used tag, I just glued it down onto some paper. And of course, you could do that too. And you could end up with all sorts of very pretty Christmas ephemera at no cost. So yes, I think we need to get all our family and friends to save them for us. And then we have a cute little pocket made out of tags and some pretty sparkly decoration. And that is it for this video. Very simple one for you. You can easily adapt this to anything you have in your stash. I just wanted to do something pretty. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments box below. And please give this video a thumbs up. And until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. And thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.